So in this, I'm creating a class called father. In the father class, I'm creating a constructor. Okay, there I'm going to make static. Okay, now if you build the project, it will be success. But when I try to create a constructor, now I'm going to say here console dot, just listen carefully, console dot write line static constructor executed. Static constructor executed. Right? So I have a class father where I have a static constructor. Now in the program class, father is equal to father. I create an instance. When you build it, it got succeeded. Okay, no issue at all. When you run the program, you can able to see static constructor executed. Console dot write line. No, just make read line. Okay. Now, when you run the program, you see the static constructor executed. Right? Now, again, I'm creating one more object. I'm creating another object as father of father one with the help of static constructor. You got my point? Now, when you run it, how many times constructor will be executed? Huh? 2 times, but it will execute only 1 time. It will execute only 1 time. So that static constructor will be executed only 1 time at the time of creating object for that particular class. Did you understand what I'm talking? Priti. Priti and Nitin. Priti and Nitin.
Understood, sir.
Okay. So static constructor will be executed only 1 time at the time of creating object for the first time. I got my point. So what is your point? What is our point we have to mention here? Static constructor will be executed only once for the first time creating an object. Third point, when we try to create object for second time, when we try to create an object for second time, static constructor will not be executed. Static constructor will not be executed. Instead, the memory of static constructor will be shared among all objects. You got my point? So when you try to create object for the first time, static constructor will be executed. When you try to create the object for the second time, the same static constructor will be used. Let's give an example. Can I have non-static method in a static constructor? For example, I'm declaring a variable private. Listen here. I'm declaring a variable private float underscore pi. Right? So pi is equal to what? Pi equal to, it will not work. You see here. Pi, it is not coming. It is not allowing me to do. Why? Because static constructor does not allow non-static variable. Static constructor, fifth point, static constructor will not allow any static, non-static variable. Non-static variable. So what I need to do? What I need to do to access the variable within a static constructor, I need to make my variable as static. Got it? I need to make my variable as static. So now here pi equal to, now you see it is coming. Earlier I never cut. Now I'm getting the variable. Pi is equal to 3.14 F. 3.14 F. I got my point. Now build to the project. Okay, now what I'm going to do, what is the area of circle? Pi r square. I already have a pi value, right? Now I'm going to create a variable public. I'm going to create a method public float area int radius. Listen carefully. Int radius. Here I'm going to use return radius into radius into pi. Okay. I'm using the non-static method, static method within a non-static, static variable and within a non-static method. Vice versa is not possible. I got my point. Now, coming to program.cs file, here console.writeLine, say area of circle 5 is, and you need to give value, comma, enter, underscore further, further dot area circle. I can pass 5. Okay. Now here I'm going to pass area of circle is 6. I'm going to pass 6. What is the idea behind this? This pi value, right? This pi value will be shared between both objects. Got it? The value of pi will be shared between both objects, but this pi value will be executed only once. I got my point. The pi value will be executed only once. Now see the program. Now you see. Why it is not executing? Hmm? Now you see, static constructor is executed only once. The same static constructor value reused by the second object. Or you got my point? So the idea behind of going to the static constructor is across the project, you want to have static values. You want to have static value. Now, when I say pi value can be available in app.config file, can I can I make pi value should be in app.config file? So what I'm going to do in the solution explorer, in the app.config, I just go and say here app settings, add key equal to pi, where value equal to 3.14. Right? Now build the project. Now in the father class, here I'm going to use configuration settings dot app settings of what is the value I given in the app config? Key is pi. Using that pi, and then I'm converting this into convert dot to float, convert dot to decimal. Okay. Here I can make this as decimal. Okay. Now I got that particular configuration. Okay. Now this pi value will read from the configuration, holding in a variable for the first time. See, I'm putting a breakpoint. You see here, when you start the program, where it is coming to the static constructor. Now see, the pi value is holding 3.14. Are you able to see that? Now function F11, it is executed. It is not going for a static constructor because the memory is already created for the static constructor. That's all. This concept is not available in Java. It is available only in C#. Static constructor will not available in Java or Python. Static constructor will available only in C#. That is the reason we are saying C#.NET is a powerful programming language. You all clear? Nitin and Preeti? So
Yes, sir.
come to the point. You understand, right? So static constructor will allow only static members. Static constructor will allow only static members. That's the very key point. Okay. Seventh point, using static constructor, we can share the resources. We can share the resources across all object for a same class. Across all object for a same class is known as static constructor. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Now, this is my code I'm going to drop here. Type of constructor. What is the type of constructor? Class and object. Okay. Hmm. Get dash code. No, two different dash codes. Your static variable is same. Static variables. That's a good point. See, you're talking this one, right? Right? Will they using the same resource? But the static variable, static containing static constructor value will be shared. Got it? Across all the objects for the same class. Eighth point, even though object for different objects holding the different memory, even though different objects will be holding different memories, right? So this is called static constructor. Clear? Code snippets. Program class. App.config. Okay. Save. Now the next topic is inheritance. So I'm just giving a brief of introduction today. Inheritance. So it is a concept of creating a base or parent class. Okay, in which we derive a derived class or child class is known as inheritance. right? This is your first point. It is a concept of creating a base or parent class in which we derive a derived or child class is known as inheritance. When we create object for a base class, point 2, always write as a point so that you can understand easily. When we create object for a base class, only base class property can be accessed. Only base class property can be accessed. Instead of creating child class, we can access both parent and child class property. Both parent and child class property. Right? So this is called inheritance. Let me prove you. Go to solution. Close solution. Create new project. Next. Sample inheritance. Right? Now in the sample inheritance, I'm creating two classes. One is father class. One is father class. I'm removing everything here. Another one is child class. Okay, I have two classes in which I'm going to have two methods. In child class, I'm going to have a subtract method. In parent class, I'm going to have a see public int supt text comma 2y, which returns x minus y. This is my child class. Now go to my parent class. I can have add here. I'm going to have x, right? To inherit father class to child class, we need to use, this is called inheritance. This concept will make you to inherit your father class. Okay. So what is your step? Colon command. Colon is used to inherit one class to another. Or you got my point? Here, inherited class will be treated as base class. Inherited class will be treated as base class, base or parent class. Or you got my point? Inherited class. Which class you are inheriting? Father class, right? Got it? So now, fourth point, I am trying to create an object for a base class. What is my parent? Father. Father is equal to new father. Now console dot write line. Now before that, I want to write few things. Let me finish that. So what I need to do, I need to declare two variables. What are the variables? Int first number equal to 0. I see. Okay. int second number equal to 0. Okay. Here console dot write line of enter the first number. Okay. First number is equal to convert dot to int of console dot read line. Okay. Now I'm copying this, paste it. I can say here second number. Okay. Then you can go here second number. I got the variable. Now, after creating an object of father class, if I use father dot, I had only add method. I'm not getting the subtract method which are available in child class. So that when you try to create object for a base class, only base class containing method properties will be accessible. If at all, if I try to create a object for a child class, I can able to access both father property as well as child property. This is called inheritance. Now, what is meant by inheritance? It is a concept of creating a base class to which to derive a derived class is known as inheritance. Are you got my point? So when you try to create object for the derived class, you can able to access both from father class property as well as child class property. Clear my point? No. Console dot write line. The sum of comma and the result is right. Here I'm going to have subtraction of. Okay, there you go and say subtract. Here console dot read line. Right. Now save all, start. Well, 4. You got the sum of 12 comma 4 and the result is 16. Which method is it is invoked? Add method. Where this add method is available? Which class? Father class. You created object for child class. How the father class containing method accessed? So using inheritance, we can able to access father class containing method. Have you got my point? No, sir. I want to implement constructor for inheritance. Okay. Console dot write line child constructor executed. Okay. Copy the Copy this, go to father. Father constructor executed. When I call an object, when I try to create an object in the program.cs file, when you call this, which constructor will be executed? Father class constructor will be executed first, child class constructor. As part of inheritance, I have two classes, base class and child class. A base class as a constructor, child class as a constructor. When you try to create an object, which class constructor will be executed first? Always your base class constructor. Now you see here, which is executed. Your father class constructor executed first and then child class. When you try to create object of a child, child is linked with father class. These are all interview questions. They will twist you. They'll definitely twist you in Hoops concept. They'll ask you when you create object for a child class, which class constructor executed first? Answer is always your base class constructor executed first, subsequently the all other child classes. I got my point. So that is the point which I want to explain in this. So what is your fourth point? Create an object. Always base class constructor will be executed first. Base class constructor will be executed first. Subsequently, other child classes will be executed. Other child class constructor will be executed. Got it? Now, one more thing. Completed, huh? Suresh? And one more thing. I want to pass parameter when I want to create an object. Okay. In the father, I'm going to have a variable using an access specifier called protected. Int value. Right? Here, I'm going to get a value int value. Something like that I'm getting as a constructor input. Now, I'm going to say value equal to value. I got my point. Now, save this. If I use public, I can access all the methods. If I use public, I can use this variable in program.cs file, in father.cs file, in child.cs file. Okay, if I use private, I can access this variable only within the class. If I use protected, I can go to my child class. Okay, here you say int value. There you go, value equal to underscore. You see, the protected member is coming from here. Equal to value. You can assign because and it is also having an issue. When you build, it will throw an exception. What is the exception? Can you read out? Problem is, in the program.cs file, I'm giving 30 is your value. And then you are trying to build. You have one error. What is that error is the argument that correspond to father, you need to pass from child, because you are creating instance for child class. That child class again need to pass that argument to father class. Or you got my point? But here in our code, we never does that in child class. We never use we are not passing any parameter to the father class. To do that, the same concept, use a base keyword. This base will pass the value to your father. Got it? This base will pass the value to this father. So what is the purpose of base keyword? Base is a keyword will pass parameter value to the parent class from the child class. Without using a base keyword, we are unable to pass value to the parent class. We are unable to pass a parameter value to the base keyword, value to the parent class or base class. Okay, so that is another advantage. Now, if you see here, this value underscore, I can use here as one of the method. And this value is I'm going to use here as one of the method. When you build it, everything succeeded. Now I'm putting a breakpoint here. Listen carefully. "12, 4, enter." You see, the value is holding a 30. Function F11. Till now, your child constructor is not executed. You're going F11. Your father is executing, and then it is coming to execute the child. Then it is executing the method. Clear? Make sense or not? So this is called inheritance. As simple as that. What you are doing, you are creating two classes. In the two class, you will have add method and subtract method. Child class, you are treating as derived class. Father class, you are treating as base class. You are trying to create an object of child class, you are getting only the subtract method. For that, you are trying to inherit father class, you are using colon father. The moment you make colon father, what happened? Child class will be trying to inherit the father class. It means that the child class object can able to access both father class method as well as child class method. That is one point. Coming to the second point, when you make a constructor, when you create an object, which constructor will be executed first? Father class constructor will be executed first. Subsequently, child class constructor. If I want to pass parameter to the constructor, how to do that? You need to use a keyword called base keyword. to which you are passing the value to the base class constructor. This is called inheritance. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about types of inheritance. In the type, there will be one issue. For that, we are going to achieve. I don't want to dump you because already static and inheritance are both are two different entities and concepts. I don't want to make your brain spoil. Make sense? Suresh, I got your mail ID. I'll give access by evening. That's all for today. Thank you, Nathan. Bye.
Okay, bye.